Who loves a good and tasty chocolate chip cookie? I do. Cookies are so easy to make, plus they're just pure enjoyment. Being a middle child out of 4 kids, I've seen so many cookies my whole lifetime. But the traditional yummy chocolate chip cookie can get a little tiring. With the spin of Oreos and a cheesecake creates a fun type of cookie. The Oreo cheesecake cookie is just easy to make for bake sales, for a halftime snack during a soccer game, or just for a little sweet treat for the kids' lunch boxes. I remember when I was younger, we were at my grandma's house and we were playing outside, my siblings and I walked inside to get some water, and as soon as I stepped into the house, all I smelled was something sweet. So I stopped, I took a second, I looked around and I took a deep breath. I'm like, what is she making? Talking about my grandma. So I went straight to the kitchen and I see my grandma plating these Oreo cheesecake cookies. So this recipe has been in my family for quite some time. But just like my grandma, we can create these yummy cookies in just 9 easy steps. Yes, I know 9 seems like a lot, but I promise you they're so easy. But before we get started, we want to make sure we've washed our hands and washed everything around us. So our table, we want to make sure we have clean appliances and everything like that. So we are first going to start by grabbing a mixer or an electrical mixer if you have one. And we're going to put all of our ingredients in. So we're first going to start off with 8 ounces of cream cheese. We're going to do this, it needs to be softened. So we're going to add that in. And then 2 sticks of softened butter. Fun fact, 2 sticks of butter creates 1 cup of butter. So just 1 stick is half a cup. All right, so once we add this, we're also going to add 1.5 cup of sugar. And I made sure to go ahead and have everything already out and mixed and pre-measured, so then it's just easier to make everything. So now we're going to apply this. This is the one I have to like roll it up, and we're gonna mix this. Mix it all together. We want it fully combined. You'll know it's done when it's nice and creamy. So once it's nice and creamy, sometimes I like to get a little spatula and go in the whisk of the actual mixer. And we're going to just get the mixture that was just made and push it down to get it all included. And we're just going to go on the sides to make it easier. Alrighty, now once that is done, this is the time to add our flour. So I'm gonna round it back up. I'm gonna have this start going at a slight speed, kind of medium speed, and this is 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna turn it down some, because if you add too much flour at once, it can be a flour catastrophe, and we don't want that. So just continue adding it all the way. And once you add all the flour in, you're going to slightly increase the speed. You can see a little powder coming out. Totally fine, totally normal. You see a little faster. And you'll have the same consistency as before. It'll just be a little more doughier. So once that is all done and mixed together, we're going to take our appliances off. And I always like to get my spatula. And once again, we're gonna take all of the dough off of the whisk attachment, like so. And then we'll place that to the side. All right, so now for our 3rd step. This is the more aggressive step. And the reason it is more aggressive is because it involves with a rolling pin in a bag of Oreos. So, and for this one, we are going to get from 10 to 20 doubled stuffed Oreos. That is important. We want the double stuffed ones. And we're gonna get our rolling pin, and you're just gonna beat it. We're gonna beat our Oreos. This is a great time to get all the frustration from having to be around your siblings or your dog even while we're in this quarantine situation. So once we have our bag, which is fully crushed, we do not want it to be as dust crumbs. We just want it to be little chunks like so. We are going to pour it into our mix, our dough. And we're going to get a spatula and we're going to fold it in. The reason we are folding the mixture in, the cookies in, is because if you use this mixer, it will become really chocolatey, like the whole dough, and it will lose the cheesecake idea to it. So once the dough looks like such, we're going to get saran wrap and we're going to cover it in the fridge for 30 minutes. This is the longest part of the whole shebang. So we're gonna go put this in the fridge for 30 minutes. I'm just gonna set it to the side because we're gonna use it in a second. All right, so while that is gonna be setting in the fridge, when your time comes close to the end, once the 30 minutes are almost up, or until it is firm to touch, you're gonna set your oven to 350 degrees. Now, once the time is up, you are going to want a scooper, and we're going to get the batter like so. And you're going to get your scooper, and you want to get a roll, a little ball just like so. And we're just going to line it on the baking sheet. And you're going to do 9 to 12 of these on each sheet. And then once you have that done, we are going to use our fingers, or you can use a warm spoon if you have one. I just find that it sticks to spoons, so I use my fingers and I press down ever so slightly that way, and then again the other way. So then it kind of looks like so. And the reason we do that is because we want it to keep its shape. So now we're just put the cookies in for 12 to 15 minutes until it's golden, or until it's golden brown on the bottom. And just take the cookies out is the last step. The last step, once you take them out, you're gonna place them onto a cooling rack like so for at least 5 minutes. So then they can become firm on the bottom. And you're going to enjoy the cookies. Some variations that you can do, you can add more or less Oreos, you can use parchment paper on your baking sheet, whatever you prefer. Just by adding a twist on the normal Oreo cookies, by mixing some cream cheese, sugar, flour, and butter together, you can create these enjoyable cookies. In just 9 easy steps, happiness will be welcomed into your life. Thanks.